So I'm Robin Monini, and I am the aquaculture and aquaponics CTE teacher at Jonesport Beals High School through CWCIT, which is the local tech center for our regional high schools. I'm just located here at Jonesport Beals High School. And
I am Becky Coffin. I'm the English 9-12 teacher at Jonesport Beals High School. And for the grant, when a bit of team members had left the grant just because of natural moving in and out, I was interim, I'll say interim administrator on the grant for just a hot second, but still stayed on for the whole thing as a teacher to support and see what we could bring to our school forward.
Yeah. And it kind of came to be because Bucksport Middle School approached me and asked how I do aquaponics and how I run a greenhouse, and I said, wow, this is really cool that you guys are doing this. How are you doing it? And they told me how they were doing it, and I said, I want to do that. Mm-hmm. So I was able to find a couple people that were willing to take this on, and it's been a lot of work, but it's been really awesome.
Yeah. That's the first time we've heard someone hearing of another school applying for RREV and then deciding to do it themselves. Yeah. That's cool.
Not only that, but that's where we're headed tonight.
Yeah.
Their learning to our Bucksport Middle School is an evening event, so we're headed there tonight.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we spoke to finding staff that can spearhead initiatives, and things of that regard that will benefit the school, and Robin's amazing at that. She's definitely wanting to find as many connections and resources, and that's the world of education, right? You can support who and what ideas can we gather and find ways to bring it to your own school to spark that innovation.
We always talk about mic drop moments. I think that was one right there. What you said right there. Yeah.
Because Todd brought a group of teachers that were just so excited and energized and ready to learn and do some awesome stuff, and I just knew it was like, we need to do this too.
Yeah.
We gotta do it.
Yeah. So speaking of awesome stuff, what impact have you seen your RREV project, and then we're sitting in this beautiful greenhouse, what impact have you seen it have on your students, on yourselves, and your school as a whole?
Yeah.
I get really excited about this because I have been through many initiatives in my teaching years, and I noticed that this is one that I see having a lot of endurance long term, just because I'm coming from a perspective where English is always taught in the classroom, and I was so excited to come into this grant, seeing how I can break out of the classroom mold and what innovative ways I can maybe work with other teachers and work with other staff members and other district members. And so far, even the baby steps that I've tried to take, I've seen success with students. We shared just a few students, but we're able to reach out to another classroom, so we're able to, anything that she's doing in her class, I'll support, and vice versa. And that's really exciting to break the mold of English and to see what else I can help support with. So seeing students with advertising and seeing students with budgeting in her classes has sparked ideas from my own class. So I've stolen ideas from her, and it's been exciting on that front. Just as an English teacher, and seeing our kids be excited to either continue a project in one of our classes, but also to see kids excited to be able to get each other classes and work more on it. So that's been exciting from my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
This has certainly helped my students have an opportunity to practice some, we keep saying these real life skills, but I don't know how else to say it. Like I mentioned earlier about problem solving, you gotta fit these really large tanks into a certain space, or all of a sudden something's not flowing right, or something breaks. A lot of things break, and how can you fix that? I think students sometimes are really used to us handing them the answers, and I try not to hand them answers, because often they can come up with some better answers than I have. And that's been really awesome to see them come up with some solutions that I didn't think of. And I think it just keeps their brain working on like, okay, somebody's not going to always hand me the answer. How can I figure it out? I feel like I need a t-shirt that says like, how can you figure it out? Because I say that a lot, and it takes them a while to realize that I'm not going to just hand them an answer. But I've seen a huge improvement in that in this year, and and they mentioned, you know, they had to. I showed them like an AutoCAD program where they put the greenhouse in, and they had to move tanks around and figure out the best layout. And once the floor was poured, we came out here with the measuring tapes and chalk and actually put it on the floor. And they helped put in all the tubing for the heating. And when the greenhouse came here in pieces, they had hammers in their hands and helped put it together as well. So they are getting to see some different opportunities that are not necessarily aquaculture and aquaponics. They're really broad. So that's been really great because it's pushed me to make sure that, you know, this project, the students were involved in from the ground up. My students last year, I still have some of their drawings saved when they did it on graphing paper. Because I said, okay, well, hopefully next year we're going to get this really awesome greenhouse, and it's going to be this big. So where can we put our tanks? And so even students last year helped plan this out for this year. So it's been really fun to have them come back as graduates and see what we've done. They're really impressed too. So it's been great. It's been a couple years in the making.
What have you seen happen in your students when you do, say you did have your t-shirt on, when you say, what do you think the answer is? What happens with them? What do you notice when you kind of put the onus back onto them to find the answer?
It's this beautiful cycle of a little bit of hopelessness and then frustration, and then they start to get an answer, and then they have success, and they're like, I could do this. And so it's kind of this full circle that I love to see. I love to see them frustrated.
And then I would even add to the end of that, after success, the ownership behind it.
Yes.
They're so excited about it. Or I'll even walk in and be like, oh, what are you guys doing? Immediately they're like, oh, this is what we've done. And it's a whole rejuvenated, you know, you talk about teacher-led instruction versus student-led, and this is completely student-led. It's exciting to see.
Yeah.
I always told them, like, I'm not gonna let you fail. We are not gonna fail here, but it's a process, and it's okay to not get the answer right away, but it's gonna be fun. Things are supposed to take time. It's not instant, as you've seen.
There's a difference between productive failure
Yes.
and just deflating failure.
Yeah.
Flailing.
And we're not going to allow the deflating, but productive failure serves a purpose.
That's how we learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like this has already happened with Bucksport, but what if somebody's watching this and they come to you and say, that's the coolest thing in the world. I want to watch my students flail. No, I'm joking. But what if they come in, like if they came to you and said, how in the world would I even get started with something like this? What advice would you have to teachers or schools that might want to do something similar?
I would say it's okay to start small and work from there. You know, the setup that's right behind you is a tote and a small pond pump. And you don't need a fancy fiberglass fish tank. You can have another tote. So start small, and it's okay. Like, there's just as much learning happening there as with a 300-gallon fish tank and a 100-gallon plant bed, and you're getting the same thing. So don't be afraid to start small, and then, you know, keep your eyes out for help. And don't be afraid to ask for that help. With knowledge and financially, obviously, because it takes a lot to get something really big scale going, but it's possible small scale too.
And instruction-wise, because I'm always coming from it as the teacher brain or the admin brain sort of sometimes, and it's finding people that are excited to do that in your school as well. Work in small schools and big schools, and either way, if you're able to find someone who's willing to take that leap with you, again, starting small, just one person, it's grown completely to our entire district now, and that's been exciting to see. So finding someone who's willing to find grants and work through that with you has been really exciting too. So that's another thing I would suggest is look for those supports internally and find administrators and staff that can help you out with that as well. I grew up outside of DC, and our high school didn't have opportunities like this. I also, again, English teacher, so I don't remember science being so hands-on and awesome, except for the annual and quarterly lab that we would do for dissections. But that was the textbook standardized learning at the time, right? this would have completely changed my world, I think. I don't know, I don't want to say I wouldn't have been an English teacher, but it would have opened my eyes to the numerous opportunities and other jobs that are out there, compared to the textbook jobs. You know, what do you want to be when you grow up? Teacher, doctor, lawyer. That it's different. This is totally different. And I love that this opens up our students' eyes to see what other opportunities there are in their own backyard, in their own community, which is so important for an area that a lot of people see as just a singular industry. This has multiple industries, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. So that's really awesome.
Yeah.
I went to a really unique program, and my high school experience is actually why I am where I am today. I went to a high school that had agriculture education, and I went through an aquaculture and natural resources program, and I had a phenomenal, inspiring teacher, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And I took kind of an interesting journey to get here, but I kept going back to ultimately, like, I want to be teaching young people about their environment and their community and these kind of industries that not a lot of people know about, because I didn't until I was in the program, and then even after that I didn't realize the different industries I could get into. So my high school experience was extremely hands-on. We had fish tanks, we had tilapia, we filleted, we were out in the woods. It was an incredible experience. So I was lucky.
Were
Not
you
a lot
in
of
Maine?
people are. No, I was in Connecticut. So.
Yeah, I think of the ripple effects you will have exposing your students to this, and we may have future aquaponics
Who
teachers.
knows?
Yeah, it's really cool. The
Hopefully,
impact that you're having.
there's not a lot of that going on in Maine right now. So I'm excited to see it grow.
Yeah, you're showing them what's possible. It's beautiful.
I felt like I've done a lot of ground up work with the program, because there isn't a lot of curriculum out there for aquaculture and aquaponics at the high school level, but
Yeah.
hopefully there'll be some more people out there and just share the knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you've got me looking at it completely. I never knew any of this stuff existed either. It's really cool. We're going to jump back in the time machine, and we're going to set it to, I'm changing it. It had been 5, but everyone has wanted 10. So we're going to jump in and set it 10 years from now. So 2034. And we walk down that pathway there at, what time is it, 11? And you walk through that door. What do you hope to see happening here?
I hope to see lots of student projects happening, that it's not just stayed static and we've got the same 3 tanks. Like, I want to see different systems that the students have built. I'd love to see a lot of community engagement where we're able to help feed our community. I want to see maybe a small business running where students are working more on marketing, and just a lot of student pride for what they have going on here.
I couldn't have said it. That was great.
Yeah, wow.
I'd love to see, because we have such an engaged community already with other areas of the school life. So I'd love to see them engage with this too, and seeing how it can help the community and it easily gives back. And I'd love to see all 3 schools continuing to work as a singular district instead of an independent sort of mindset. Just because I think these kids realize what a community it is. And I want them to know that it's possible. So, 10 years down the line, I'd love to see all 3 schools working together.
I don't think students often dread coming to class. I mean, I totally has a final next week, but but they're excited. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of motivation.
Yeah.
Intrinsic motivation, opposed to it's gonna be a grade. It's gonna be a grade. No, like they don't ask me, like, are we gonna get graded on this? They just we just come and we do it.
Yeah.